I would sit in I call it my crying cubicle corporate life. And I would sit in my cubicle and cry almost 8 hours a day. And I just knew there was more for me.
Welcome to the Break Room, where we talk about life, work, and everything in between. The real stories and conversations that matter. Today, I'm here with someone I connected with online and knew immediately belonged in this room. She's a serial entrepreneur, the founder of Messie Missy, a coach and a podcast host for midlife women, and a former CEO. Melissa has made a career out of turning her messes into the map of other people. I'm so glad she's here. Melissa, welcome to the break room.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so happy to be here. I love sitting in the break room. So let's do this.
Yes, thank you. So, who is Melissa and where did Messie Missy come from?
Who is Melissa? Oh, you know what? I'm actually searching for her right now. Um, I I really focus on identity, right? And so I think as we go through our messes, as we grow through and build through our messes, there's a lot of identity work done there. So who am I? I'm ever changing, right? I'm a child of God. I'm a mom. I'm a remarried wife. I'm somebody who loves life and by way of loving life happens to find herself in messes along the way. Um, I am a serial entrepreneur. I love business. I love growing business, all things business. And so who am I is really a big bucket of messes, if you will. And in that is a lot of identity shifting and a lot of identity exploration and a lot of identity finding. So I know some of my core principles, but I don't exactly know, like, I can't stake a claim in who I am.
Hmm.
My name is Melissa, and my entire life, one of my nicknames was Missy. And
Oh,
I honestly didn't really love the nickname. It was more of certain people in my life used that nickname for me. So it was endearment and never really went much with the Missy outside of that core group of people in my life, my family,
mm-hmm.
very close family, nuclear family. And then um, I started living life, right? And the more I lived it, I kind of got messy in it. I learned from my mistakes. I fail forward. I also love to drink coffee. And if you know many Melissas, a lot of Melissas tend to be kind of spilling kind of people, or Mels, excuse me. People with like MEL in their name.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody introduced this theory to me, and it's true. So people with Mels in their name tend to be people who spill often. And I love to drink coffee. And my children always comment on how I spill my coffee, which is messy, especially if you're wearing white. I
Oh,
tend to
yes.
stay away from white. So Messie Missy's kind of evolved into this persona that I just love about myself.
Mm, that's good. That's good to hear. That's a very nice story.
It's
Right.
messy.
Yeah, it's messy, yes. So you left a big seat in corporate life as a CEO of a $75 million healthcare company.
It left me. That got really messy. Um, that I thought was a purpose-driven role of my life. You know, when you asked, who am I, right?
Mm-hmm.
Identity, you start to build your life and your identities around kind of the roles you play in life.
Mm-hmm.
And this healthcare CEO position that I felt blessed to have, loved every minute of it, loved the challenges. Growing a healthcare company through a pandemic is no small feat. And it came to a screeching halt. And literally one day it was no longer my role.
So, what did that chapter of your life actually look like from the inside?
Oh, it was beast mode every day. And I loved it. And so it's, you take a small, petite, 5'1" woman and you plop her down as a CEO of a very male dominated industry, and let her go, right?
Mm.
My executive team used to call me the Energizer Bunny, and it
Oh,
was many days my watch would ding at 18 hours standing straight. So
wow.
it was intense. It was very consumer driven healthcare delivery service. So we were very much about making sure that we were taking care of our patients, unlike a lot of Western medicine. And my role was to keep not just our patients happy and coming back and returning, but also keep our team. And so I had about 175 to 250, give or take, employees, staff. It was all privately run, one owner operator. And so it was a ride of my life.
That's a big one. So, going through a divorce, losing your identity, rebuilding from scratch, what did that actually look like for you?
Well, of course, I could say messy, right? Because
Messy.
it was messy. Um, those are so there were three things in there. One is divorce.
Uh-huh.
What were the next two?
It was losing your identity.
Losing my identity, which came with what we just talked about, the roles we play in life, right? I was a wife, I was a mom, I had the nuclear family, and that whole, like, we were not white picket fence at all, but we had, a husband, a wife, a boy, and a girl,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing, right? And
Right.
so you lose your identity when those things kind of fall apart. When the marriage falls apart, you're no longer the wife, you're now the ex-wife, or you're the co-parent. And when you lose your job, you lose the identity of the CEO. I was no longer, CEO. So those things, what were they? They were the losses were devastating. And the losses turned into a lot of grief. Um the most recent was the job loss, and then, like, things kind of rolled down from there, which had to do with a big financial um
Struggle.
struggle,
Mm-hmm.
going into debt, um bankruptcy, being evicted from my home. So, like, all of the comfort that comes in life, it's it disintegrated, it disappeared, it went away. I mean, and so I started experiencing panic attacks, in
Oh,
the first time of my life. So not only are you dealing with loss and grief and mourning, and I do want to say that with identity shifts, or with a loss of identity, there you do have to mourn that person that you used to be. And I would say the biggest aha for me through this, because we're going through it, the biggest aha is really letting go takes time. Forgiveness is a solid ingredient that has to be figured into this grief process, and it's hard and it's messy. Um, and so you can't rebuild backwards, if that makes sense. You're not going to be the person I'm not going to be the person I used to be. I'm kind of in this messy middle now, and I'm looking forward. And I'm a very visionary person.
right. So that helps. That helps overcome everything.
You have to have a lot of faith and a lot of trust.
Correct. So you're always on the move, but rest is part of the story too. With all you got going on, what does taking a break look like for you?
That's a really great question. And I want to take more breaks.
You should take more breaks. We should take more breaks.
I feel there's this message coming through. I do believe in higher powers. I do believe I am a believer in God, and I really wouldn't be here without Him. And I've actually recently been hearing more of there's something in the stillness, right? There's something in the taking the break. But
Yes.
I'm a builder. So you ask like what does taking a break, look like for me?
Yes.
I don't know that I could define that. I was forced into this darkness for 2 plus years. So I was in this like really really dark place, a lot of depression. There was that grief that I mentioned. It was ugly. And it wasn't taking a break, but it also was like as if everything was in slow motion. I
Mm.
wanted to get through it faster. I wanted to
Mm.
build my life quicker, faster. I wanted to get to the other side of this,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that was, right? That
Right.
darkness, that depression. Um, and I couldn't. And so I think that's a really great question to ask. What does taking a break look like for me? But honestly, I don't know what taking a break looks like for me because right now I just got back to the point where I've gotten some worthiness, right? Some self-worth rebuilt.
Mm.
I've gotten some self-confidence.
Great.
I've gotten so I'm morphing into this, I think it's beautiful, into this new version of me, but I don't like I love that I'm in the break room with you, right? So if we were in a break room, like in
Yes.
my healthcare company, we
Right.
used to I noticed people weren't eating very healthy, and I really believe in health overall, like movement is medicine, and
Correct.
moving your body, walking your steps, and then
Yes.
eating healthy. And I noticed a lot of our staff, a lot of our clinicians weren't eating the healthiest. So we started doing something in our break rooms, which I think is relevant, which we started bringing in healthy snacks. And
Oh,
we
that's great.
filled our break rooms with healthy snacks. And of course, people tried to trick me and tried to get me to place the order for like the Oreos, let's say. But we would
Mm.
replace that with like popcorn or granola bars or, protein bars or fresh fruit, things like that. So when you think about the break room, right?
Yes.
You think about the elements of like what you do in a break room, right? You talk to
Correct.
people, you socialize, you probably talk about your personal life a little bit, maybe a little gossip, which I'm not a fan of, but um we did these things in our break room, which were really and unique. We would decorate our break rooms for different themes.
Mm.
You bring
Yes.
a sense of life into this break room where you
Correct.
retreat from your work hours and you go to rest and you go to regroup and you go to have a little bit of sense of like community amongst your coworkers. And so I just love that I'm in the break room with you right now. I'm rebuilding right
Right.
now. Like
Right.
I'm doing it for the world to watch, world to see. Like what does starting over in your mid 40s when you've been stripped of everything except what I could
Everything.
fit in my little carry-on suitcase, right? What does rebuilding look like? And so I don't want to take a break from my life right now because I'm just coming out into it.
All right. Yes, you're right. You're right. So you're passionate about helping midlife women leave corporate and build their own. For a woman in still stuck feeling like something has to change, what would you say to her? Do you wish someone would have done this for you?
Oh, I wish I had me 10 years ago. I talk about it all the time. I wish I had a me 10 years ago. Um I I want women who go through these messes that are life-changing, like divorce. And I use
Hmm.
divorce because I'm now about 12 years removed not removed from it. I am
Mhm.
12 years through the divorce. Um, I'm just recently able to co-parent better than I was ever able to co-parent. And so I think I know who I used to be back then. I know what I needed. I needed hope. I needed to know I was going to love again, right? Because that's scary. When you're on your own, raising little kids by yourself, it can be a big bad world out there. And I recall that I was going through my divorce and I would sit in I call it my crying cubicle corporate life. And I would sit in my cubicle and cry almost 8 hours a day. And I just knew there was more for me. But nobody was, and I really I don't like this saying, but it is true. But nobody was coming to save me.
Right.
And so I don't want another midlifer woman going through this drastic upheaval of her life to feel alone. I set
Right.
out on a mission. The very first business I built through my divorce was to cure loneliness, one gift box at a time.
Wow.
And it was called Empowering Movement. And so I want to be an empowerer and I want to encourage you to move. And to do those things, you've got to have some mentorship. You've got to have somebody to look towards and somebody to almost like anchor onto temporarily to say, like, look at what she's doing. Look at how she's doing it.
Mm.
A role model of
Right.
sorts, right? Like, how
Right.
many midlifers really have a role model? Like, that's a
Correct.
kid thing, right?
Correct. Yeah.
You grow up wanting to be somebody, but why not now? Why not in our mid 40s to find other women who will help? And I am huge service philanthropic helper person. So that's what I'm doing.
Wow. You're an angel to midlife women. You help them.
I want to. That's what I've kind of always thought I would be. I just didn't know how to get here. But
Mm.
I was taken through that path of a lot of pain to find some purpose in it.
Now you have it. You had a purpose of helping other women who get through things that you get through. So leading with a mess is an intentional choice. You built a whole brand around it. What made you decide to do it this way?
God, he didn't give me another choice. I fought it for 3 years. I started a podcast. I have always wanted a podcast. I
Mm-hmm.
just something that spoke to me about podcasting. The funniest thing is that I don't like my voice.
Oh my
So
God, that's me.
I'm
Yes,
using my voice as
that's
a
me.
medium, right, to reach people. We have to love our voices. And so
Yes.
God kept telling me, restart it, because I had started it. And I thought I could keep going with the podcast literally up to the day we walked out of our house and never went back. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep going. And so I stopped it. I didn't quit,
Mm-hmm.
but I stopped it. And then I tried to start and stop and start and stop and start and stop. And it was almost like a whiplash. And I just never fully committed to it. But
Mm-hmm.
all along through those 2.5 years, I pray and I go to church, and every message was God getting louder and louder and louder saying, start the podcast again.
Mm-hmm.
And so here we are. And now he's challenging me with what's next.
Right. I mean, God is saying you are helping other women. So now it's your chance to shine. Now you're on the other side helping others get there. What do you know about yourself now that you couldn't have seen from inside that other life, the corporate one?
I didn't think I could get through something this devastating. I didn't understand the why it would happen and then how something like that would happen. And I had to be able to go through it without the understanding. So business is very black and white,
Correct.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we have spreadsheets, we have data points. We know our offices, we know our clinics are full, we know our surgery times, we know the surgery turnover times. We're very, very like you run with a book of
Mm-hmm.
how to do every little thing and OSHA and compliance and all of the things that are run in healthcare, right? So
Correct.
it's very much standardized and
Right.
very strategic.
Correct.
And then I find myself on the other side of this world of like unknown. Nothing,
Mm.
everything is gray. There's no black
Mm.
and white. And I, the CEO, Melissa, would not know how to be the Messie Missy,
Mm.
right? I know how to clean up blood after the surgery and the post-op and things like that, but I don't know how to operate in a way that's totally uncharted territory. And this CEO, Melissa, was pretty by the book, like, rough and tough. And then this Messie Missy is now softer, slower, more intentional. There's more heart space available. So it's very different.
It's very different. So, Melissa, for anyone listening who wants to connect with Melissa or learn more about Messie Missy, where can they find you?
They can find me on my website. It's spelled MESSIEMISSY.com. And that's really easy. But you can also find me on some socials, Messie Missy podcasts, and that's the best way to connect with me. And I'm very, very approachable, and I want people to reach out to me because I know what it feels like to be afraid. I know what it feels like to truly feel like you're on your own island, and I don't want that for anyone.
So, Melissa, thank you for agreeing to do this. Thank you for reminding everyone listening that the mess isn't the end of the story. Thank you for trusting me with this conversation. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank
You,
you for having me in the break room. It's been
of
a
course,
very delightful
thank
conversation.
you. Thank you so much. You're such a great one. Thank you so much. And I feel honored. Thank you.
Oh no, I mean, I think it's a great conversation to have, and I do want to tell people the the magic, and I know it's again, I don't like to use words that like sound cliche, but the magic in our messes is really in the building, right? It's in the movement. So for anybody that feels stuck or alone or like
Correct.
in a break room, right? And they want to break through,
Correct.
they can do that with
Right, you're
me.
right. Yes, that's so nice. Yes, that's right. You're right. I think everyone has a mess.
Why not? Get messy. Have fun.